On Mauvin, Godinho, what does the road ahead then look like? Even as far as a state like Goa is concerned, irrespective of, as Mr. Sisodia said, political dispensation or who is in power, states will have to look after their revenue considerations, will have to worry about their revenue shortfall. Now, I want to understand from you, as we start the 6th-year journey, what is it that you foresee?
First of all, I want to say that I will still say that the GST regime has been working well. And I would go to the extent of saying that the results are there for everyone to see, to an extent of 1,68,000 crore, and then on an average last 4 months, 140 plus. Itself speaks volumes of the good working of the GST regime. Now, having said that, for us to come into this situation, it is nobody's plan. Various things have happened. The group of empowered ministers who actually brought about this GST was always chaired by somebody from the opposition. Today we have people from all political parties which constitute the GST Council, and I would say it is one of the best example of cooperative federalism. In fact, the last meeting, today meeting in Chandigarh, will bear testimony how everyone was forthcoming. Who wouldn't want the compensation cess to continue the next 5 years? But one must realize a hit in revenue has been taken not only by the states, but the center as well. When we have had so many headwinds, first it was the slowdown in the economy, then we had the big pandemic thing with most unexpected like the COVID period. Now we have the Ukraine war, we have the inflation naturally as a natural consequence. With all these things happening, the center also has borne the brunt. And if I may recollect, during the pandemic period, did the center not reach out by having a special window of borrowing from the RBI and giving us money when they did not still have money in their kitty? So much so that the compensation to be collected, cess to be collected, has been extended up to 2026 with no burden on the states. Now, this is not a difficult time what only the states are facing, or only India is facing, or only the center is facing. All over the world, this particular churning is taking place as far as the economic situation is concerned. But in spite of this, the center has always been forthcoming with some or other form of actual financial help as to shore up the finances of the state. I am confident even if the compensation cess is not continued for the next 2 years, there is bound to be some out-of-the-box solution coming from the center, given the way our honorable...
Was anything discussed on this out-of-the-box solution? We also heard about the possibility of an out-of-the-box solution, but was anything taken up in the council?
I think you'll have to wait for a reasonable time to get that.
What is a reasonable time, sir?
When you call it an out-of-the-box solution, or something really which will help all the states who really need help, I for one believe that no central government, for that matter, will want any state finances to collapse or any state to go on the brink.
I would imagine it would not be in anybody's...
it will not happen.
Yeah.
So I am very confident, as you are aware, even in your earlier programs years ago, everybody seemed to be a pessimist, but I will continue to be optimist. We will come out with solutions. We have it in us.
That's the spirit of Goa. You bring the party no matter what happens.
Not only that, I was pretty happy and surprised also in the last GST Council. We had all states coming out with a very high level of cooperative spirit. Yeah. And I said, my God, this is cooperative federalism at its best. Even when there was an issue as regards Goa, Mr. Manish Sisodia, as we were talking a little earlier, fully supported me. That should be the spirit. Reach out to each other. We are bound to come out with solutions. Okay, we are facing a problem, but if you look at the state of the economy as such, stakeholders, our industrialists, everyone who matters, the business community has risen to the occasion.
You haven't given up hope, Mr. Godinho, so let's address that issue. One, the important loopholes, in the words of Mr. Sisodia, that you believe need to be addressed as we move forward, and some of the important items on the unfinished agenda that you believe now need to be prioritized.
Yeah. See, one very important thing. Now, this is in the box, what we all can do, the center and the states. Our GST system is based on the electronic system, GSTN. we know initially we had a lot of hiccups. It
Yeah.
was not functioning well. We took quite some time for it to
Yes.
function. Important thing for anything to succeed is getting the data, matching data, using the data, and that is how GST functions. Crores of invoices being filed, and the difference of filing with the income tax department, which shows a huge difference. All this data is to be matched. Basically, the leakages have to be plugged.
Yeah.
And using an electronic system, this can be done. We all know that even Mr. Nandan Nilekani had to be called to the GST Council meeting to explain why is the system not working so well.
Yeah.
So we did suffer in the beginning. Now it is working well. It is bound to work even better in times to come. So it is the joint responsibility of the center as well as the states to plug the leakages and increase your revenue.
Sure.
I would say you go to any shop for that matter in Delhi or in my state or anywhere. When you go to a shop, what do they ask? I want to be very open here. It's the stakeholders, it's the businessmen who also have to come on the table honestly. They say, you want to pay GST or you don't want to pay GST? बिल चाहिए क्या नहीं चाहिए? ये बंद होना चाहिए. सब साथ में मिलकर ये करना है, देश को बनाना है. So that should be the basic spirit. And it is up to us not to get the Inspector Raj back, but there has to be a better monitoring. There has to be a improvement in the system where actual revenues due to the government actually comes to the government, whether it is the state government or the center.
Right.
I would also put it in a cricket analogy where all of us have to cooperate. When you bet for India, when you're betting for the country, when you go on the pitch, do you think you're thinking, oh, I'm from Delhi, you're thinking how India will win? Not that you are
I think that's what
Delhi,
he's saying as
Delhi
well.
Delhi batsman
that is
or
what
a
Mrs.
Karnataka batsman. Or
I think that's what Mrs. Sisodia as well as Mr. Balagopalan and Mrs. Singh are saying, that this is about India. It's not about the centre versus the states. Most certainly,
I
it's
also
not about the
reiterate
centre
that
versus
point.
the
All
states.
of us have to be together and putting our minds together and really applying it. I think things are bound to improve. If you look at how GST worked at the beginning in the first year, second year, third year, of course, COVID period, everything went for a toss. But thereafter, there have been a tremendous improvement, and it is bound to improve further. As I said, the minimum one can do is plug your leakages. You will have your revenues rising. And then, as I said, other things will follow. It is for all of us to contribute to that. If you have these various headwinds, what we have faced, whether the war or you call it the COVID or before that various other situations.
I get that, Mr. Godinho, but when we're talking about this spirit of batting for India and so on and so forth, let's be very clear, sir. The state of Goa is batting against the group of ministers' recommendation when it comes to casinos. Is it not? You want to protect your revenues?
No, I think this is totally a wrong notion. An impression is being created that Goa, because of the casinos being prevalent only in Goa, and maybe a little bit of it in Sikkim, maybe Meghalaya also wants to have some casinos now, but Goa is the primary state where that business is going on. Our simple demand is not about the rate of taxation, neither it is the demand of the industry. Impression is being created. We want it to be dropped from 28 to 18%. No, let it remain at 28% with cess, whatever. All we are asking is that it should be according to the international practices of charging on the gross gaming revenue.
GGR.
That's on the GGR.
Absolutely.
That's the only point. But a wrong impression has been created and it has gone in public domain. So I hope this acts as a good clarification for people to know. We also don't want to lose our revenue.
Absolutely.
Today it has become a major source of revenue, if I may just say. It's not the question of casinos alone.
Online gaming as well.
Online gaming, horse racing. And also I want to say, when I say casinos, our flights, half the flights, whether from Delhi or from other states, are full because people come to play in the casinos. And when you say casinos, it's not only gambling. It's the entertainment industry. The best of talent comes there. It is showcased. Families come and watch that. Your restaurants are running. They pay GST. Your handicrafts are sold. Your taxis are running. everybody pays the GST.
You'll have to convince your colleague in the GST Council, sir. Mr. Sangma will need to be convinced with this argument.
I think at the end of it all now, everyone is convinced.
Everyone is convinced.
There is a rethink.
Okay.
And only this wrong impression was created as if we don't want it at a higher rate and we want a lower rate. No, it is not
fair
so.
point. So you're saying that the hike from 18 to 28% is acceptable, but the 28% should be on the GGR and not on the entire pool.
Yes,
I think that's the argument that's being made by the online gaming industry as well.